In an earlier video, we looked at creating a calendar table using the calendar function. What I'd like to look at now are some of the functions available to you in DAX to dissect and break down dates that you have in a table. For starters, I'm going to ask for a new column. So I'm going to go to Table Tools, and create a new column. And what I want to do is I want to extract a day from the date column and show it as a number. So the column will be called day number equals Shift Tab, and I'm just going to document that this will show the day from the date column as a number. Shift Enter. And then I'm simply going to go DA, and there's the day function. I'll grab the day function, single quote, because now it just wants a date. And so from the calendar date table, I want to grab the date column. So I press Tab, close the brackets, and when I press Enter, I now have a new column in my calendar date table that shows the day as a number, the first, the second, the third, the fourth, etc., etc. Now another date that's quite handy is the EDATE. Now this returns a date that is indicated by the number of months before or after a specific date. So let's say I want to show the previous month to this date. So I'm going to create a new column. I'm going to call it previous month. Let me just take my caps lock off. Equals, Shift Enter. This formula shows the previous month of the date column. Shift Enter, Tab, and I'm after EDATE, and there it is there. EDATE, single quote, and I'm after the date column in the calendar date table. Here you can see at the top it explains that it needs a start date, comma, and then it needs the number of months. And it will return the date that is indicated by the number of months before or after that start date. So because I'm looking for after, I'll go comma, -1. -1 means take away 1 month. If I'd gone +1, or just, not +1, sorry, just 1, it would have added a month. So I press Enter, and there I have the date for the previous month. So the month before the 1st of the 1st, 2020 was the 1st of the 12th, 2019. If I change this to just a 1, then I've got the next month. If I changed it to a 6, then that would be 6 months forward, but I actually want to show -1. So that's the EDATE function. Now there's another function called ENDOFMONTH, or EOMONTH, which returns the date for the last day of the month before or after the specified number of months. So it's great for calculating maturity dates or due dates. So I'm going to ask for a new column, and I'm going to type due date equals, Shift Enter, and I'm going to document that this returns the date that is 6 months after the date. Shift Enter, Tab, EO. EO is the end of month function. Single quote, there's my date column, comma, and I want 6 months after the date. And as the explanation shows up there, returns the date of the last day of the month before or after the specified number of months. So this is going to give me the last date 6 months away from the date. And so here I have the 31st of July for 2020, which is the last date of the month, 6 months in advance of the 1st of the 1st, 2020. So that's a function called EOMONTH. But then there's a function called ENDOFMONTH. New column. This new column is going to be called end of month equals Shift Tab, and this is going to return the date of the end of the month, current month. Oops, and I pressed enter instead of shift enter, so I'll just click back up there, shift enter, tab, and I want end of month. There's the function there. It has to be the date column, and that's it. Close the bracket, and it returns the end of the month. So the end of the 1st of the 1st 2020, or the 2nd of the 1st 2020, or the 3rd of the 1st 2020 is going to be the 31st of January 2020. Now earlier we looked at the day number, which simply gave us a number for the day. There's also a function called month, which simply gives us a number for the month. So I'm going to go new column, and I'll call it month number. And this simply returns a number for the date month. Tab, month, and then I simply say that it's the date column that I'm wanting to return a month for. Returns a number from 1 to 12, January to December, representing this month, is the description I see on my screen. So I simply close the bracket, press enter, and now I have the month shown in the month number column. Now I'd like to show quarter. Now this is new to Power BI, and it basically returns a number 1, 2, 3 or 4. It believes that January to March is the first quarter, April, May, June is the second quarter, and ultimately October to December is the fourth quarter. So I'm going to create a new column. I'm going to call it quarter number equals, shift enter, and I'm going to document returns a number between 1 and 4 to represent the calendar year quarter of the date. Shift enter, tab, and quarter, and there it is there. Notice there's also things like the next quarter, the date of the next quarter, the end of the quarter, the start of the quarter, the previous quarter. Lots of quarter functions, but I'm just starting with the quarter function, and I'm going to choose the date column and close the bracket. And when I press enter, it gives me a quarter number based on a calendar year for each of the dates in the date column. Another useful function is weekday. The weekday function returns a number between 1 to 7 representing the day of the week. So let's have a look at returning a weekday for our date column. New column, I'm going to call it weekday equals, sorry there's a delay in the typing, equals, shift enter, and I'm just going to go tab and just go straight for weekday. I want the weekday of the date column and comma, and then I have to actually say what number I want to return. Returns a number from 1 to 7. Now, if the return number is 1, then the week begins on a Sunday. And so then Sunday is number 1. But if you put the number 2, then the week begins on a Monday. So let's say I want to show the week beginning on a Monday, so I'll put a 2. Close the bracket, press enter, and so the 1st of the 1st 2020 we can safely say was a Wednesday, the 2nd of the 1st 2020 was a Thursday, because Monday is 1, so Wednesday must be 3. I'd like to add another new column, and this is to return a week number. So I'll call the column week number equals, shift enter, and week num is there. I want the week number for the date column, and we have a return type as again. Again, if we put a 1, then the week begins on a Sunday. If we put a 2, then the week begins on a Monday. So to be consistent, I'm going to put a 2, close the bracket, and enter. And, oh, I've got an error. I'm missing a comma. So I just click up here, enter a comma in front of the 2, and press enter. And so that gives me the week number, the week number that date falls in a calendar year. Now the next thing I want to do is pull out the year. And so we'll create a new column. And in the same way as there was a day function and there was a month function, there's also a year function. Year equals shift enter tab year, and there's the year of the date. Close the bracket and press enter. So that's a variety of date functions, but as you can tell from your notes and from what we've been doing, there are other functions. So do explore functions above and beyond the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 functions we just had a look at.